Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about AAX, government's bad debt, and SMRT stock as well. So keep watching until the end. As usual, disclaimer, we do not own any shares in AAX, but we do own some shares in SMRT. Okay, so let's start with AAX. Now, what is obviously in the news is Tan Sri Tony's very interesting sports massage picture. You guys can go and Google what it looks like, or if you click on the thumbnail, you roughly guess and know. AAX has always been a company that has struggled. I followed it since 2018. I never quite liked the business model. I thought it never made sense. However, in as far as 2023 is concerned, it has been probably one of Malaysia's best performer. It went from nearly 50 cents all the way up to 250 or touching 250. But then suddenly in the 12th of October, there was a big dump. I don't think it's related to that picture. Almost 20%. Now the question is why? Now they will always be in this PN17 status. For those who don't know, it's called Practice Note 17. It's a pre-bankrupt sort of note that the exchange slaps on companies when they don't fit certain criteria. You can go and watch our Pharma Niaga video to see some of the technicalities of a PN17. But essentially, with COVID and all that, they've got these PN17s slapped on them, and they actually tried and applied to relieve themselves of this, tried to lift their status, but it got rejected and it's going to be pushed until Q1 next year, which is January 17. Anything you want to add, Jonathan?
Oh no, it's just that they're just given an extension only for this time period, even though they're very confident that they can uplift this PN17, but then Bursa gave them a reality slap. And I believe also because why they are so confident is because recent 4 quarters they're actually making profit. It's a very strong recovery. And also another thing is because their book value actually managed to meet the guideline of the Bursa in order to stay out of PN17. Stay out of PN17. So these two are the reason why they are very confident, but then Bursa still don't allow them. And right now they're trying to figure out why is that the case. And they're giving more time for them to actually collect more documents and whatnot.
That's right.
Yes, correct. So as a result of this AAX, right, obviously once AAX PN17 status is not there's no uplifted. So Capital A also got impacted because Capital A also is right now is under PN17. So it is kind of like a domino effect. So if AAX cannot uplift their PN17, Capital A also cannot, because Capital A wants to dispose of their aviation arm to AAX. But then AAX needs to be out of that status first, then only they can acquire. So that's why there is this 2 things happening at once. Both also dropped about 18 to 20%.
That's right.
Yeah, and we have this infamous picture, which actually Tony actually took down the picture already, I think after a few hours or so. But he's actually
defending it. Actually in his Instagram post, someone criticized it, blah 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 blah. Then he was saying, but everyone in the meeting was aware, everyone agreed and says totally fine if he takes that. Of course, it's more of a public outrage, and of course we know people who know him personally who criticize him as well. But
exactly.
Anyways.
But then the media didn't really like what he was doing.
He's always in the media.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so the comments right now is why the shirtless post. Of course, obviously that was actually it's kind of confusing to me also. When I saw, I was actually rather shocked. I didn't know that you can actually do this kind of meeting half naked. So I'm not sure whether this is a sort of a distraction because of this PN17 thingy. But just now we mentioned about the AAX PN17's domino effect on Capital A. If AAX does not uplift their PN17, Capital A also cannot. And then last point is the AAX free seat. So they have actually been doing a lot of this promotion, which is giving them a certain amount of seats in the future.
That's right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of advanced ticket sales kind of thing, which once they collected it, right, and then they kind of pay off all of their operating expenses and whatnot. But if let's say the clients decided to refund, right, I think that would be quite a big of a troublesome.
Refund,
yeah, correct. And which is why I believe why AirAsia always do credit ticket. like they always like push you forward.
Yeah, say, hey, you can't use your ticket here. You can use
correct. I think it's like a strategy also lah. I mean, it's not a good strategy, but then it makes the client to stick to your service.
Well, I would say that because of the dominant position, that's why they can do it.
Yeah.
All the goodwill that they've created since 2004 allows them to be able to do this. Of course, it's not nice. People complain all the time, but they have an airline to run. Now, my thoughts are, I could be wrong, but I think eventually they will lift it up. And the reason is because one of the things that we are still waiting for, and I could be silly for saying this, but one of the things that we are still waiting for is actually a revival of China's tourism.
Yep, correct.
And when you see the latest budget, you see that tourism is something that is pretty up there in terms of the agenda. But they're going to spend millions and many millions to promote their tourism sector, and naturally AirAsia will benefit because they're airline. So I think eventually they will. They're already generating cash flow.
Yep.
Haven't checked the latest numbers, but I'm quite sure they're profitable as well. And I think it's only a matter of time. AirAsia X will be a bit harder and may take a bit longer because, again, as I said earlier on, the business model is not something that I like. Regardless, let's move on. SMRT. So SMRT, interesting company as usual. Stock price also pumped another 30%.
Yeah.
From what, 70 odd cents?
Yes, correct. 71 cents like that.
Yeah, 71 cents.
But overall, it's up like 500%, which is
it's a top.
impressive.
I think it's one of the top performers this year.
Yeah.
So, now what drove this was Hong Leong Investment Bank coverage. They're adding the discoverability of SMRT. Now you have, them saying, $1.38 being the target price. And maybe, they have been buying themselves as well, right?
Yeah.
Hong Leong buy side.
Correct. Probably that explains why the pump lah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, SMRT is a company that is linked to the NETR plans, right?
Yeah.
In Malaysia, they are one of their largest customers is Tenaga. This is a well-known thing. And as Tenaga grows, as they digitize, SMRT will stand to benefit because they're involved in, hardware solutions, they're involved in a lot of wireless network connections, smart grid initiatives, all these keywords, right? They're all part of it. And they also have foreign expansion, right? Into Indonesia, right? They're basically saying, hey, we can do it for Malaysia, we can definitely do it for Indonesia as well.
And they actually have a very bullish very bullish core earnings in the future, where they say that they can annualize, can compound about like 21.5% in the next 3 years.
Yes.
So every single year.
In fact, that has been lowered from like 30% already, actually. They when I met them, they were saying, it's about higher. Actually, I just checked the price. It's 93 cents already. So
right. Interesting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. So just now MJ briefly talk about the business. If you don't know, in layman terms, is basically they provide a real-time monitoring of performance of the TNB substation. So a lot of like those boxes, right, metal boxes outside, or those like high tension wire cable, they're wiring. So SMRT got tracked what is the network, and also they want to help to reduce those electricity interruption. Sometimes when our electricity suddenly went down, right, then somebody needs to fix it, and somebody needs to find what's the cause or root. So SMRT provide this kind of stats to TNB to know.
And they are also creating a proactive one. So like they know beforehand, this is they will be able to study, okay, these are the conditions that typically occur before an outage happens.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to create a software that tells TNB people, hey,
be careful.
This area is already...
Yeah.
And in fact, if you go to some of these substations, or even just the basic boxes or that, you will be able to find this brand called Osiris. And Osiris is the subsidiary. It's the brand that SMRT uses to connect with a TNB. So they are quite visible in that sense.
Yes, exactly. And then the last catalyst is basically riding on the grid development. Right now, there's a lot of expansion on this grid from the government. And also, not to mention, is the Indonesia's market that they are trying to penetrate into.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so last week we talked about government's bad debt, aka 1MDB mostly.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's more to it than that.
Yes, correct.
You know, we have like 4.6 billion ringgit worth of loans written
off in 2022.
That is huge. And 200, wait, sorry, what's the last bit?
The last bit is the total amount of borrowers right now that they have, which is about 295, and they borrowed about 10.8 billion. So about like almost half of it was actually written off. It is pretty very bad. It's like people are not paying back the government. So this is just some stats on the federal government's loan, right? Just now I mentioned 295 borrowers, 10.8 billion loan. Average, each of them owes about like 36 million, and like 42.6% of this 10.8 billion is written off in.
And these borrowers are typically your corporations.
Yes. So a lot of it is like your state governments. You can see who are them here. So this is the person who, the company that actually didn't pay off their debts. So you can see there is the Pewaja Terengganu, Sdn Berhad. This I believe is related to this heavy industry kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't know why they cannot pay, but then it is actually a necessity for the state lah. And the government actually willingly write off this debt. I believe they actually hold this debt since 1980 something. Yeah. So it held it.
Sorry.
Yeah. So they held it until 2002. Then they decided to, I cannot collect, so write off. And then,
nice.
Yeah. And then another one is like Pahang State, Malacca State, and FIRL Berhad. So they all owe quite a big sum of money. Okay, so this is not written off yet, but it's still due. So the highest one we have here is Indah Water. Hey, it's the one that we owe every day. We pay on every month. They owe about 3.6 billion. The other few one is SRC International. I think SRC is related to 1MDB. And then Sabah Electricity and KTM, where we sit the train. So we don't know whether how much of this will be potentially written off in the future. There could be possibility also if let's say they are not paying on time.
What, in the water though?
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually quite shocking when I was actually reading this article from The Edge.
But this is what's due this year, is it?
No, not this year.
How much they still owe?
Still owe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to see how they service the interest as well.
Yes, exactly.
I guess, this is more of a question, just a small segment of the video today. But we'll see more, right?
Yes,
and how do we keep them accountable? I think that's the one thing that I want to find out. Why is it that they have so much that's due? Are they able to service this? Right? I would imagine Indah Water can service the debt.
Unless they are there's some mismanagement.
Anyways, but it is true that some of these government agencies can be allowed to be a bit more loss-making, because they are crucial to the country, and so it's just a question of whether the government wants to pay for that amount.
Yeah.
And
then in the end, it's basically a majority of it is us paying for their.
Yeah. But of course, when you look at the entire budget, I remember it's like 250 odd to 300 billion ringgit every year. So let's say Indah Water is 3 billion. Let's say, so that's what. Slightly above 1%.
Yeah.
So okay, 1%. If it's like 30 billion, then okay, that's very different.
Yes.
Okay, guys, that'll be the end of the video. But before that, FIRL Pro, right? FIRL Pro is our signature program, a program designed to help you find investment ideas a lot faster. You might be a busy person, maybe you have kids. So even if you wanted to do research, and research takes time. Even if you wanted to do research, you may not have the time to do it or the energy. Let us help you, right? We produce at least 2 reports every single month to help you shortcut your research by at least 90%. These reports are just 15 minutes long, foreign and local companies. We like to say, before you even finish your Kopi O, you can finish the report. Now, if you want to get a sense of what it looks like, head over to the free sample section, which you can find in the comments and description. And if you ever do sign up, and within 10 days of signing up, you feel like this is not really for you, for whatever reason, you were disappointed, didn't meet your expectations, just send us an email saying you would like the refund within the 10-day period, and we'll give you back the money. No questions asked, except that we want to know why. That's it. All right, I think that'll be it, guys. Thanks for staying all the way until the end, as usual. and I will see you in the next video.